Hey, it's Lawyer Vince, and welcome back to the How to Convince podcast. This space is where we turn real world conversations into powerful tools for clarity, confidence, and calm authority without ever needing to raise your voice. I'm glad you're here. And before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if something resonates, drop a comment. That's how we grow this movement of people learning to speak up, protect their peace, and show up with strength. Now, today's episode is personal for a lot of us. It's about a phrase that's short but powerful. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. This isn't just something you say when you're mad. This is a boundary setting tool, a clarity statement, a reset moment. If you've ever felt taken advantage of because you were too patient, too helpful, or too understanding, this episode is for you. So here's how we're going to lay it out. First, why people mistake kindness for weakness in the first place. Then, how to fix that without becoming cold or aggressive. I'll give you 7 power phrases and what they really say underneath, and I'll share 2 client coaching stories that show how this plays out in real life. You'll get 3 easy communication tools to protect your peace in tough moments, and we'll end with listener questions pulled from last week's newsletter. That's what we're unpacking today. So if you're not already on the newsletter, go sign up now. The link's in the description. Every week, I send out a quick mindset tool with powerful phrases you can use, and most you won't see on Instagram or on the podcast. And if you respond, your question might be featured in next week's video. Sound good? All right, let's jump in. Let's start with the reality. This happens every day. You help a colleague once, and now it's expected. You offer grace during someone's off day, and now they think you'll absorb their mess every time, right? You bite your tongue, you avoid drama, and suddenly, you're the one being ignored, overlooked, dumped on. Well, here's the uncomfortable truth. When you don't speak up, people don't fill into silence with generosity. They fill it with assumptions. And often, they assume you're too scared to say something. But the truth is, your silence didn't come from fear. It came from kindness, from trying to be a good person, right? From giving people the benefit of the doubt. So let's reframe this. This episode isn't about turning to someone that you're not. It's about finally standing up for who you are. You can be thoughtful and have boundaries. You can be helpful without being a pushover, and you can be generous and still say no. If you've ever walked away from a situation thinking, I should have said something, this episode is here to help you say it next time with clarity and calm. There's a false story in our culture, especially in corporate America, that says, if you're kind, you're soft. If you're empathetic, you're not strong enough. And if you're quiet, you must not be in charge. But let's set this straight. Kindness is not weakness. In fact, kindness takes more control. It takes strength to stay calm when someone tests you. It takes power to respond instead of react. Kindness says, I could hurt you with words, but I choose not to. But here's what people get stuck. This is where people get stuck. Kindness without boundaries become self-neglect, right? It becomes people-pleasing. And over time, people stop seeing you as strong because you stop showing them, right? You stop showing them where the line is. So here's a formula I want you to walk away with. Kindness plus clarity equals authority. You don't need to dominate the room. You just need to define your space in it. And the way to do that is with language. So let's talk scripts. Here are 7 phrases that help you communicate strength without sounding rude or harsh. Each one is followed by the message it sends, even when it is said with a smile. So first, I'm happy to help, but not at my own expense. Translation, I'm generous, but I know my limit. 2, I value harmony, but I won't avoid necessary conversations. Translation, I'm not here for drama, but I'm not afraid of the truth. 3, I respect different opinions, but I won't tolerate disrespect. Translation, disagree all you want, but stay respectful. 4, let's reset expectations so this doesn't happen again. Translation, the pattern ends here, not with resentment, but with clarity. And 5, I lead with respect, and I expect that to be mutual. Translation, I treat people well, and I require that in return. Number 6, I'm kind, not naive. Translation, I see what's happening. I'm just choosing not to explode over it. And lastly, 7, I'm flexible, but I'm not here to be taken advantage of. Translation, I'll bend, but I won't break for you. These phrases don't just protect you, they teach other people how to treat you. And that's where the power is. Now, let's share 2 quick stories of what this looks like in action from actual clients of mine who did coaching with me. First up, let's call this client Erica. Erica worked in marketing. She's brilliant, thoughtful, and drowning in other people's work. She told me during her session, I feel like the more helpful I am, the more I get punished for it. And I think it's holding me back in my career. So we worked on saying this one line when she feels like her kindness is being taken for granted. I'm happy to support, but I want to make sure I'm being used where I'm most effective. She used this in a meeting and the room didn't fall apart. In fact, her boss thanked her for being honest. She immediately noticed a shift in her workload and was able to focus on more executive tasks she was put in her role to do rather than always cleaning up messes by doing more junior tasks for her team. And she told me later in her next session, I finally feel like I'm being seen as a leader again. Now, that's a win. Next, we have, let's call her Dana. Dana was a senior analyst known as the fixer. She cleaned up messes for other teams and never said no. Her energy was gone. She told me, if I don't figure this out soon, I'm going to burn out or blow up. She worked on this. We worked on it together. And we said, before I take this on, I want to make sure I'm prioritizing what adds the most value. Can we review what's essential? And the response she started to get by saying this was respect. She said it to her director and he told her, you're right. Let's reassign this. What's important here is that she didn't lose status. She actually gained it. That's because people respect what you protect. Remember that. Now, I don't know each and every one of y'all's specific situations without talking to you. So what I want to do is make this even simpler. Here are 3 tools you can use to hold your ground no matter who you're talking to. Tool number 1, speak early. Say, here's what I can help with and what I can't. Don't wait for burnout. Set the boundary up front. Number 2, hold the floor. Say, let me finish my thought, then I'll hear yours. It's not rude, it's responsible communication. 3, call it in. Say, I've let this happen in the past, but I'm shifting how I show up. You're not attacking, you're evolving. These 3 lines change the way people read your energy and respect your presence. All right, let's move into one of my favorite parts of the show, the listener Q&A. This is where I answer real questions that came straight from my newsletter replies. And remember, if you're not on that list yet, hit the link in the description and sign up. It's free. You'll get one mindset tool and phrases every week that you won't get anywhere else. And if you reply, your question could show up right here next episode. So let's dive in. Question number 1. Let's see. Would you be able to share your thoughts on how to respond to those that are master manipulators, pretentious storytellers that end up telling you what should be done because their way is the right way, or so they think? Wow, this is such a powerful question. Well, here's the key. Master manipulators often use long-winded stories to dominate airtime and control the emotional tone of the conversation. What you want to do is interrupt the dynamic, not just the words. So try this line. I appreciate your experience and I'm going to choose a different approach here. It's short, clear, and it signals we're not debating, we're deciding. And if they keep pushing, you can say this. I hear you and we don't need to agree for me to move forward confidently. This protects your autonomy without escalating the ego battle. Question number 2, let's see. Hi, Attorney Vince. How do you handle someone that rolls their eyes at you or scoffs, smirks, shakes their head, or to another person while you are speaking? This is a great question. Nonverbal disrespect is still disrespect. And eye rolls or smirks are meant to provoke you without giving you something direct to push back on. So here's a calm but powerful way to respond. I'd like to continue this conversation, but only when it's clear we're both listening with respect. If you want something even lighter but still clear, you can say, let me know when you're ready to have this conversation without side commentary. It draws a line without raising your tone, and that's what earns respect. Let's go question 3. My 19-year-old son is running a painting business out of our home. We ask him to keep on top of the mess, but he deflects with things like, you must have better things to do than supervise me. Is there a better way to say, my house, my rules? Yes, absolutely. And I really appreciate that you're asking this from a place of wanting respect and not control. Your son may be running a business, but he's still operating under your roof. And that comes with non-negotiable responsibilities. When he deflects with comments like, you must have better things to do, that's not independence, that's avoidance. You don't need to justify your authority in your own home. Instead of saying my house, my rules, try saying this instead. Running a business doesn't exempt you from respect. If you want the freedom to run things your own way, you'll need to do that in your own space. Until then, I expect you to keep this house clean, communicate respectfully, and meet basic standards of consideration. If that's too much to ask, we can talk about other options. This makes the expectations crystal clear and shifts the burden of choice to him. You're not asking for permission, you're laying out terms. So question 4. Let's see. This was in response to the newsletter about emotional cues to read minds better. They said, love this. Would love examples of responses. I sometimes get stuck on what to say next. First of all, thank you. I love that this resonated with you. If you're noticing someone's emotional cue, like they suddenly speed up or drop their volume or put on a fake sense of calm, here's a quick framework. 1, name what you notice without judgment, right? Say, I noticed your tone shifted. Want to pause or keep going? Or you can say, it sounds like something's sitting underneath what you're saying. Can I ask what that is? You're not accusing them of anything. You're just making space for what's unsaid. 2, check in with curiosity, not control. Say, you said that quickly. Is that how you really feel? Or are you just trying to move through it fast? Or, I hear what you're saying, but I want to make sure I'm hearing what you're not saying too. This builds trust because it shows you're actually listening, not just reacting. And 3, if they shut down emotionally, gently open the door. Say, we don't have to solve it now, but I can tell something shifted. I just want you to know I'm open when you are. Or, if now's not the time, I get it, but this matters to me and I want to understand. The goal is to show you're emotionally aware without pushing too hard. Reading emotional cues is about noticing shifts in energy, body language, or tone, and responding with presence instead of pressure. The more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. Let's do question 5. What if someone says, I've changed, and they don't mean it as a compliment? I love this question. If someone says you've changed without meaning it as a compliment, say this. You're right. I've grown. And part of that means being clear about what I accept and what I don't. Change always rattles people who benefit from the old version of you. Let them adjust. You don't have to go backwards to make them comfortable. Okay? Final question for this week's episode. Question 6. Let's see. How do I respond when someone constantly interrupts or talks over me in meetings? It's a great question. And I actually got this question multiple times this week. So here is what you do. You call it out kindly and cleanly. You say, let me finish this thought. Then I'm all ears. Or if it keeps happening, I've noticed I'm being cut off often. I want to make sure everyone's voice gets full space, including mine. You're not shaming, you're naming. And that kind of language gets attention without defensiveness. All right. If this episode gave you something to think about, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and drop a comment that says, kindness isn't weakness. So I know you stayed with me till the end. And hey, this conversation doesn't stop here. If you want direct help applying this in your own life, I offer one-on-one coaching sessions where we dive into your specific situation and build your confidence step by step. The link is in the description and in my Instagram bio. But just a heads up, spots are extremely limited and tend to fill up quickly. So I do my best to connect with as many of you as I can. But if you don't get a slot this time, please don't take it personally. I see you and I appreciate you. And make sure to follow on Instagram and sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. I've got new tools dropping soon, super soon, that'll help you speak with clarity, hold your ground, and navigate tough conversations without losing your cool. I appreciate you being here. This has been How to Convince with Lawyer Vince, and I'll see you same time next week.